I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I can't hear anything from you guys.
Are we? Can you see us?
I heard a little something now, but I can see you. I'll see if I picked up bits and pieces, but let me just so you know, if I don't answer, it's because I can't hear you.
Fair enough. Well, when we speak, it says that Rocky is talking.
Oh, Rocky's that.
He
went dead, right?
Let's see. Is there a volume on?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I think that's. Yeah, you finished out the last three sections.
Is this the,
He was out there. Somebody's out there phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear, excuse me. Yeah, I can hear you now. So whatever was going on, I think it's okay.
Okay, gotcha, thank you. Thanks, Doug. Know a little bit about Zoom.
just right, I'm gonna turn.
All right, cool, well.
It's, yeah, the trail's awesome. Anyway, they're doing a great job, but somebody's up there today doing more, but so it now goes Coyote, partway up power line. So it connects power line and then power line down to, Buena Vista, which connects to Sage.
All right.
I don't know if they're gonna go up power line or not, but I saw their equipment is down on the lower part of Sage that is really eroded. To work on that too. So
Is this
they're doing a
you
great
guys,
job.
Patrick?
Yeah, funded.
Gotcha, well, thank you very much, and thank you to me for paying my dues and all of you guys. Alrighty, do we have a consensus on the August 22nd, 2024 minutes? Any dissension? All right, I'll take silence as consensus, and do we have consensus on the approval of the agenda? Any changes that need to be made?
I think item B was gonna be a presentation from Attila,
Okay,
so we probably wanna.
I asked him about that yesterday too. You were there.
I was
right?
there.
Are you?
yeah,
you wanna-
I can speak
Okay.
enough on
Okay,
it.
Then we'll leave it as, yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like we have consensus. We can move on to status reports on prior action items. I do have my checklist done. It's finally, here it is. I've done it. I can I'll add it to the email for any changes that need to be made, but I have actually done what I said I was going to do. It only took me an extra month. But it is,
Wait, this is like a 12-page,
it's just three.
is there more
It's
than
just,
one?
it's molded.
It's small.
That's six.
No, there's blank pages behind it, I mean.
Oh, yeah, it should just be three.
Yeah. Is there any way we could make it a one-page form, make it smaller so that?
Sure we can.
Just, I mean, it's always easier when you're doing
Yeah.
that kind of
I can
walk
condense it all.
through checklist to get it all on.
Sure,
there
sure.
To
Yeah.
one page.
Should be easy.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Condensed to one page. Do we have any other action items that can be reported on?
The election of the new members should be on the next, council meeting.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a process, so.
Election.
It got delayed.
Who?
Elliot and,
Oh.
Jackie Farmer and,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Jenna Pepper.
Okay. Copy.
Did we make a presentation at the?
We did.
Okay,
I mean, so we had a work session where everybody was submitted the proposal and everybody was, you know, appreciative of all the hard work y'all did and it looked great.
great.
So,
So our charter got approved
yeah,
and, okay.
The members, they were listed in the charter as needing approval, so that when they approved the charter, they didn't approve the members?
yeah, it's just because there's a delay in that process was all, so it'll get on next meeting, so.
Gotta do some vetting first.
Yeah, kinda, I guess that's, yeah, exactly.
What is the next meeting? Or when is the next meeting?
I believe it's next.
Next Tuesday should be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Let's see. I'm just going through this. We do have a deadline to get a list of, projects that ECTA could help the village with. It's due by the 15th. Let's see what else.
I had sent out an email with all of the things that we had discussed in the meeting. And when I went back to look at my own email, because I'd sent it to myself as well as everybody else, mine said that there was no content in the email message. I didn't get the email.
I got it.
Was there content in
Yeah,
it?
you had your ideas listed. I think.
Okay,
I
it was
think.
just strange when I looked at mine, there was no content, so I don't know what I got. I don't know what happened to the thing.
When did you send it?
Same day,
Same day.
so I'll go back to that and actually, to save me from rewriting it, Tim, will you send it back to me? Cause I have no copy of it. That's why I went back to it, cause I was gonna add your stuff to mine and, mine disappeared.
Are you saying that, Matt, are you saying that, that's part of the comprehensive plan? Is projects due by the 15th?
No, that is the ECTA. Yeah, so at our last meeting, we discussed, whether or not spending the $12,000 on ECTA was worth it, so we wanted to compile a list of deliverables that we think that they could help us with.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to get together so that we can go to them and say, hey, these are things that we'd like to see done. Can you actually, if we give you $12,000 of these things that we could actually get help from?
Okay.
Let's see, I do have provide an update at the next committee, well, I guess we'll get to that anyways.
Oh,
Yeah, that's pretty much on item C, so, okay, well, looks like our action items are good enough, moving on to B.
I'd say, Elliot, are you getting the emails that? Sometimes when I send them to the Angel Fire Committee, I get a reject on your email address.
And no, I'm not getting them. And sometimes Chris forwards them to me. So,
It
yeah.
may be, cause. Well, we'll talk to Rocky about that.
Well,
I
isn't
guess.
it Todd in charge of that list?
And that's why something just You went haywire.
Yeah, usually it works. Sometimes John's email rejects,
Right.
and sometimes it works, but then I'm getting Elliot. So I think every time I send it to that group, it rejects like yours. So I either maybe until it doesn't have your.
Right, I'll write it down right now. Who else did we add? Was it Jenna?
I don't know if they've been at it or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Tillis kind of maintains that list, so we'll have to check with him.
Right. All right, if we don't have anything else on item A, we can move to item B. Presentation on the recreational trails committee role and development of the village comprehensive plan. So Attila would probably be better to speak to this, but I was in attendance for that meeting, so essentially what they're trying to do with that is. They want spearheads from all of the different committees to then bring to them, and they want to act as kind of the center point to make sure that different committees are actually talking to each other and we're trying to support each other. And something that kind of just popped up in my mind is there's a dark sky committee, and they are going to want to produce a dark sky ordinance. This central committee is gonna be instrumental in trying to help, like, okay, well, what if we won't put lights out at Allen Fields? How do we fit that into a dark skies? And so we've been given some deadlines. I thought I brought it in. I did, yeah. So we're gonna have a progress meeting on October 30th, and we've been tasked with pretty much coming up with our plan for what we want to implement as kind of a roadmap to then provide to the village central committee. And so the goal is to have all of this stuff in by early 2025, kind of have like full roadmaps of each committee, have the comprehensive plan committee help tie all this in so that we can then go to the next step, which would be hiring a third-party contractor to help finalize it. And so I guess over the next couple of months, we'll need to slot out some time to get our roadmap together. I have an example, but it's in my truck. I did not make it in here.
How long is this roadmap or how many years out is this?
Is it,
It's supposed to be, I think it's a 5 to 10 year plan.
Hmm.
Actually, here we go. So this is kind of this is kind of what they want. You can pass that around. What they want to see from us. What are our projects that we're trying to do? What are the challenges that we're gonna run into? Where do we find funding? Stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the end of October, is that?
Oh, they just want a draft.
Well, like for our committee, I mean, that's doable.
We have a pretty decent idea, but they wanna keep us moving along and have a draft, so. They can, and just so that all the committees are aware of what's going on with other committees, cause if there's a way that we can double down and you can get a grant. For 2 things, or 1 thing that 2 different committees want, or something like that.
Meeting the next.
Or eliminate conflicts too.
Right.
yeah, and that you already.
How many
noted
committees
that's
do we
the
have?
example.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total.
Jesus. One's dark sky.
Well, some of those are like,
I guess they're more like, these,
some of those are
more like.
not permanent, you know, as far as, you know, just getting. I think like the employee housing, affordable housing committee, you know, those people are just tackling a certain, you know,
Right.
project direct, you know, and not.
If we have some
Not
affordable
really.
housing, they'll probably go away.
Correct, yeah.
So it's like the water and solid waste management, this example, is that a committee or is that just a village department?
There's a fire adaptive committee.
So maybe
that-
committee was the wrong word.
That falls,
yeah,
that
somebody-
does part of the solid waste.
So here, I'll scan this in and email this to you so it can be in the minutes. So it's not committees is the right word. There's sections, right? So we have section one, the land use and plan development, and under that, there's different committees. There's the lodgers tax, workforce housing, streets and infrastructure. And so it's trying to get all of these different organizations together, and so 8 committees is the wrong word. It's actually just 8 sections. Carol, that's around if everyone wants to look at it, but it's that's all I got, so
Is that different than this?
it is different. I'll pass that back
Just
down.
another example or something.
Yeah, that was our kind of roadmap for that meeting last week. So yeah, I guess something that we can slate out in the future is start working on building our portion of the roadmap, so that at that October 30th meeting, so that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4 meetings before then, is that correct? The
October 30th.
before 4 meetings between now and October, at least 3. So it gives us some time to work on that and have at least not show up empty-handed at that meeting.
Be good to maybe put that as an item for next meeting, huh?
Okay.
To discuss those.
All right, we'll do a workshop on on our roadmap.
Yeah.
Phil probably could have done a better job, but that's kind of the gist of it.
I think you did a great job there, man.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the validation. I see this there, I'll pass it back down. For everyone else to look at. There you go, sir. All right, that's pretty much that. We can move on to C if there's no questions. Further discussion, review the trails plus grant criteria and provide the initial narrative ideas for the Frank Young Extension Trail projects. Summarize discussion from the Frank Young Trail Alignment Scouting Walk. I left early. I felt absolutely horrible. My allergies started to really,
Because of the weeds?
yeah, right. I felt, I went downhill so quick.
I was picking burrs off my shirt all night.
I went home and took a Benadryl and, I apologize for leaving early. I reached my threshold of tolerance. But I'll open it up because everyone was there, so.
I think, at least my observation was, rotting along the sewer easement seems very doable. The part that got a little confusing was what we did up there with the school and the dog park and
Yeah, that's gonna be, we'll need a bridge across the stream there. We'll need to get a new. We have permissions, some of them verbal, some of them in writing. For what we're currently planning, but to cross the stream and get up to the school, we're gonna have to do that process again for that segment.
Who controls stream crossings? Probably Tilla knows that.
I'm sure.
Across the wetlands?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a wetlands committee.
Yeah, but they don't require.
Do we have to interact with the EPA?
Probably, yes.
To do something?
Because when the golf course was gonna redo number 9 and fill in that pond, they had Army Corps of Engineers go out there and look at it, because it goes all the way down
Gotcha.
to the pond and Eagle Nest, so they have to understand the flow.
The current Frank Young Trail has got 2 bridges across. What did we have to do for those? Is there any institutional
2
memory
bridges.
of what we did on those?
I'm wondering if, that would be part of the engineer's plans anyway, because
Yeah.
they deal with the environmental side of it. So when they start designing the trail, isn't that right, Shay? Shay, are you here?
Here.
Yeah. Don't
know-
you think that the engineer would probably tackle some of that difficulties with they're gonna design the bridge, so they would in turn play a role in the what we needed to do. Any red tape we needed to handle to get that bridge put in.
Normally, is what an engineer does. The previous trails, I'm not sure. I mean, I know the Frank Young Trail, you know, the youth corps did. But I don't know what engineer they used or whatnot. And then the, you know, for the bridges and everything, I'm not sure how that all went. The engine, if, you know, if we're gonna hire an engineer to do this whole trail, then yes, I would assume they would handle the bridge and everything. But, yeah, the engineers are gonna be very expensive. But when you're dealing with wetlands, you do have to have it engineered, I believe.
The 2018 plan didn't involve any new bridges, because they were gonna use that existing crossing, the culvert crossing down there by the pump house.
Oh, where those power lines go, kind of?
Well, if we were to follow Attila's idea, I would suggest you cross, you know, that culvert with pre-existing,
Yeah.
and then you follow the power lines up to that school.
Oh, so the junction would be much farther south
Right.
on the road where.
Yeah.
So the second crack shack is what you're talking about. Crack shack.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like a pump house to me, but,
Yes. Except that one of the intent, part of the intent of the trail is to provide access from the school to the fields.
that's correct.
And so if you
This
had-
would not.
Yeah, that would not,
So we need
that
to
would not
address-
be the right.
You would need a new crossing.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't sound like we have any institutional knowledge of how that bridge got in, on the existing.
That's really much.
A school to fields.
Well, we'll have to just see if there's anything that we can find out about that.
Crossing, we were gonna review the criteria, correct? Was that on the to-do list for
That'll be-
today? The action items,
Yeah, it says review Trails Plus grant criteria.
okay. Shay, do you have that readily available for us? Or like a grant application, maybe I can find it real quick.
I emailed the link to everybody. That's all I pretty much have is,
There's that link you provided to it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it.
I mean, if Rocky's there, maybe he has a second to come out and, you know, he could talk about it a little bit.
I'll get him.
I remember her sending out that link.
I'm looking for it right now.
That's what's name.
Make a folder and walk the
trail out. Yeah. So. Next week is out. So with that on and like we just got one more color. So it's. It's the original term. And this. Is the old, yeah, you know, like sewage pump houses. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, sewage would be.
Make a nice little football stadium or a little amphitheater.
Empty, right?
It is empty.
Yeah.
It'd actually be, if we had a football team, that'd actually be a really nice, nice little natural football stadium. All you gotta do is put some drainage in, so that when it rains, it can run out into the wetlands.
Okay, you already have the stadium seating.
Absolutely, all you gotta do is bench it in and. Big cool little amphitheater now.
The kids would try.
Call it Sledgeville.
I just, opened up the guide, and doesn't that look like our bridge?
Oh, absolutely. Let's see, where did you find that?
So I went to Shay's, email and clicked on that, grant plus thing,
Did you just airdrop that to me real fast, please, sir?
the email.
Just what you got pulled up.
Oh, okay, sure.
I see that she sent the,
Yeah, so this is definitely.
the city parks improvement program.
It's the town, Elliott, Lonnie.
Yeah.
That's good.
Outdoor recreation trail.
I don't know how old this one is, but I have this one.
Thanks, sir.
But this all belongs to a resort.
So dog.
Yeah.
I have this one, but I don't.
That's not all. She said.
Does everyone? If you guys have airdrop turned on, we can just airdrop this.
You're talking about the outdoor recreation trails plus grant,
Mm-hmm.
have that.
I'm sending it to everyone.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know. Are you iPhone 93?
Beats me. I don't know what my iPhone is.
There's someone with an iPhone 93. I don't know.
Go ahead and accept it, even though I'm looking at it, I'm like, going,
I didn't get it.
So we have a 2-to-1 match requirement. Hey Shay, could you help verify the 2-to-1? So let's say that if they gave us $100,000, we would have a $50,000 match, correct? Okay,
You're an iPhone 93.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I don't know why.
Chris, you got Jeff's number? He didn't get it. I
I
got it.
didn't,
Patrick.
Patrick's.
Right. Well, you're right next to him. Maybe you could send it to him.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
so I guess we'll need we should add an action or a agenda item for next week. I don't know how quickly we could get this wrapped up and in. That's kind of the
Well-
village staff.
it's 3 rounds on a rolling basis.
Yeah.
Until February 28th, so we've got.
2025 or until the funds are depleted.
Oh, yeah. If we run out of funds before then.
Yeah.
Yesterday, had the discussion
Oh,
about,
round 1 is September 30th.
Mhm.
yeah, our first request would probably just be for engineering and design
Right,
and probably legal and property rights.
absolutely.
Well, would you do it a phase at a time, or would you apply for a grant for the whole thing? And
Yeah,
then-
I don't know, he was kind of promoting that concept of using it in phases.
Yeah.
Because of the dollar amounts, because I think this phase here, doesn't it say it's only up to 99?
It's up to 99, the
So I don't
first
think
phase,
I
tier
get
1.
the
Oh, I see, yeah.
Design, construction, I mean, the design
We could,
and the
we
construction.
could probably get design done for
Right, so I think the
100.
first
Right.
grant application, I think, is probably just the engineering and design.
Which, I mean, we just hand it over to them, at that point, because Shay, they could get us they can submit a cost for that, through an RFP to the village. For the engineering design, because we don't even need an RFP for that.
So, are you saying the engineering and design would be done in-house by the village?
Well, yeah, we have, is it Dennis Engineering still, Shay?
That's who we use.
Yeah,
But for the purpose of turning this grant in, and that's why if Rocky was there, because he's the one that turns it in, I just get him what he needs, but in the past with other grants, the way it works is you break, something like this will be broken down into phases. And you can submit with the grant, what all 3 phases or however many phases there are with the approximate date ranges. And then for the first phase, that is what, if awarded, that is what we would put the money to, is the first phase. And then go around for the second round and then, apply again or whatever and put it in for the second phase. So that's usually how we do it, is we break it down into phases and submit it that way and just kind of hope they give us the money. So
but at least as far as dollar amounts go, the engineering firm would be able to handle most of all of that, because you have to submit.
Yeah.
Amount, right?
now, yeah, just like with the one we just submitted for the Allen Fields, we aimed high, who knows if we'll get it, but we reached out to the engineer and just had him give us kind of a ballpark figure that he thought for, the first go around. And And that's what we submitted with our breakdown of all the phases we were gonna do up there. So that's kind of the same route I would say we take with this too, so.
But if I'm reading that correctly, where the grant's only up to 99,000, I mean, that's not gonna be enough to do all phases in one grant application, would it be?
No, we would have to apply again, you know, and I budgeted this year too, you know, to match, you know, what I thought would be enough money to, for that match or whatever. And
Unless
then,
we regional project, in which case I mean, cause if we can tie this in through ACTA to part of the Enchanted Circle Trails, that becomes a regional project, and then we have a $500,000 limit.
yeah,
So,
But can that all
That's
be
a pretty
worked
good
out between
idea.
now and September 30th?
Well, if we're only going for phase one, which is just the engineering part of it, sure. We get to engineer this.
Then work on the other, try to work on
can we
what we're gonna
apply,
apply for and where we're gonna apply for the next phase.
can we apply for multiple tiers? Or is it just one?
I asked Priscilla that yesterday too, and he wasn't for sure.
Cause if we can apply for 2 tiers, then we might as well. Apply for under tier 1 for just the planning, I guess it'd all be just planning and design, but if we can do 2 applications, apply for 1 tier. At the 99,000, but then apply for, if we can tie it into the ECTA, it's a really good idea, Lonnie, if we can tie that in with ECTA, then try to get 500,000. Cause that would start to at least cover some construction.
And I don't
I mean,
understand.
how expensive is it to bring in material, cap it, all that stuff? Like, do you have an idea of like,
Well, we're gonna have to get estimates,
And
right?
we do little sections of the Monteverde Lake, and each time it's, $10,000 around, which get us 900 feet. But if you're bringing in a contractor company, it's, paying people $30 to $50 range an hour, doing that plus materials.
So when you did the Enlightenment reroute on the top, you hired an outside design or construction.
Underneath the resort though.
But
Hired through the resort.
But I mean, do you have any idea like how much it costs to just get the design?
We did all that in-house.
You did the design in-house and then you did the construction in-house or, okay.
Well, I think that's why it needs to be done in phases, because we need the design in our hands. And then be able to have the design to take to Kurt, you know,
To find out, yeah, what it's gonna cost. I mean, you don't know what it's gonna cost. Do you know what the design is?
right,
Let's say general rule per foot without material being brought in, you're looking at $3 to $5 per foot.
and that's without material? Gotcha.
And see, this design, we don't know what the design is gonna be. Is it gonna be like the railroad ties with fill in between them, or is it gonna? You know, are they gonna trench out and keep it at grade, but then require fill?
Yeah.
You know, the design, I think, has a big impact on what the cost will be.
sure.
The 2018 trail plan, all they were doing is just mowing. it.
Right. And I think we're talking about
Yeah.
like a real trail.
Cinder or whatever.
I would advise kids as simple as you can unless you need retaining walls to hold back something, but don't do railroad ties lining the trail.
Right,
It's just a mess down the road.
yeah, I mean, that's what they did on the existing Frank County. railroad ties, but I think yesterday we had some discussion, it'd probably be at grade, but to be at grade, you have to dig out and then
Yeah.
refill with.
Yeah, and now they're concerned about creosote coming from those.
Right.
Railroad ties years later.
But you said $3 to $5 a foot
That's
without
that's a
material.
typical, yeah.
So I mean, that's, we're talking about removal of material and then bringing in new material.
If they're not doing railroad ties, what are you doing then to build a trail? I
Yeah.
mean,
She's just bringing like some base
dig it
course,
out.
cap it.
Yeah, break it out and then bring in like this, the crusher stone or whatever.
Maybe some underlining.
Yeah, that's what we did with Monteverde Lake. We did the landscaper fabric underneath. I don't know how well that works 20 years down the road, to be honest with you, but that's what we did.
Might last 20 years.
It
Yeah,
looks good. I mean, like you said, we dig out
Helps
a
prevent
couple inches
weeds.
and fill it with material and it seems to do pretty well.
yeah.
Not maintenance free, you always have to maintenance, but it does well and it's fairly cheap to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I.
Then you like plug in the cinders, or what did you bring?
No,
in?
we,
What was that,
we
Jeff?
brought in.
That fabric,
We
put
like
down fabric and
engineered
then
grounds
base
also
on
it's
top of it.
refined. When they tumble the dirt out there, it's like, the last refined mills is what they call it for. Engineers, so I'm not sure what the term was. Browns is what they refer to it as.
Browns.
It's kind of what nobody wants unless you're packing something. It's not what you put in your driveway. But we like it and what we do. It's good for a trail path. It's
It looks like
really
it
nice. It's the cheaper material too.
Cheapest
About 20
probably.
Makes decent like building pads too.
And this Dennis Engineering, they're qualified to do a trail that we're talking more about than just the mowing.
Didn't they do the original Shay? Were they, I mean, here's from Dennis Engineering 2012, you know, let's see.
Was that just gonna be a mowed trail?
I don't know, but I mean, so that's what we need to do is I think have a conversation with Dennis Engineering to see what they have from see if they in fact did the sewer. And if they have the easement information from the original sewer easement, we can look at the sewer easement, see how wide it is, see where it goes, and then see if they can give us an estimate the cost to engineer the trail, right, Shane? Is that what?
Excuse me. Yeah, and I can also reach out to Kurt and you know, get his input on that too. And then the other thing we would need to do is probably reach out to the resort again in regard to making sure that, you know, I don't ever know if we got anything in writing or whatnot when we were doing this back in the day, because I wasn't the one that was talking with everybody over there. But you know, to make sure that we're still okay to do a trail along the easement.
Yeah, can you get me the lot numbers that we're talking about? Unfortunately, I missed that.
Show you right here.
There was, who has this? Do we have a map of the first sewer easement?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one over there.
Oh, okay,
Well, I don't know about the width.
Oh, okay.
Line,
but it's just like,
I would think 30 feet, both side or one side.
I don't know.
They also last night like it's narrow or sheet shape.
Narrow.
Yeah, shape.
Well, we gotta go from the shop.
I wish I know, she said shape. She
Said
said
no
narrow.
roads have an easement in your property and that's.
Right, you have the right of way easement.
But if sewer line breaks, they gotta be able to get in there.
Right. That's
Or
the thing
Bob
is-
Short, you know, take his pipes out.
Yeah, right. So I guess depending on how wide it is, cause you don't really wanna build the trail on top of the sewer
Pretty much.
the whole way, because if something breaks, then they gotta dig it up.
But the one from Olympic Park to the Baptist Church, their manhole covers right on the trail.
Gotcha.
So we've done it already, but
I mean, I
in the
guess we're
future, we wanna maybe, like you said.
go to the
deviate
side
a little bit.
a little bit, yeah. Would be ideal.
Yeah, about there.
Hmm.
Cause they got them on our roads, like Woodlands, and in the winter, they actually knocked the cover off the top of snow plowing. So, when they hit that thing, it jarred my house.
Probably didn't do any good to the sewer.
Knocked the whole cap off.
Man, makes me wish I'd started a porta potty business and was dumping right into the sewer.
Bob's yard.
5 yards.
There.
Yeah, it will be important to know how wide that's.
Get overlays bad.
But it's not very wide, we've got to go up and over the manhole covers versus around it today, make a big difference.
Yeah,
I
we
suppose.
don't want manhole cover.
Oh, thanks, sir.
No, but if the easement's only
Appreciate it.
10 feet wide or.
So this
6
is,
feet, you know, if
this
it's
is the
only
sewer?
Of the sewer line, then.
Yeah, then
This is the sewer easement? Is this?
Well, this is the yellow is the trail,
Okay,
which follows the sewer easement up to
what's the red?
the old sewer lines. I don't know, I don't have an actual, I think I don't know,
That red almost looks
That's
like
a
that
road.
alternative that
is
we
it the
were
creek or?
thinking it would.
It's not the creek,
no, the creek runs in between the two.
yeah.
I wonder if that was
The,
ever an
That
alternative.
might have been a
Then there's a blue line.
proposed road or something. Cause that road kind of ends at that culvert, that first culvert that crosses the orange
Blue
line.
is probably existing. They're already existing, cause it goes almost to that CS.
Yeah, it goes up to that fence line.
It's probably irrelevant for us at this point,
Yeah,
the red.
this might have been an alternative proposed trail or something.
We even have quotes from the Rocky Mountain Youth Corps. Shay, I need to get this to you. I'm gonna get this file to you today after the meeting. Cause it's got a lot of good information in it. I should have gotten that to you earlier. My apologies.
The Rocky Mountain Youth Corps, do they have the ability if it requires, excavators and all that kind of stuff? Or is it, or are they doing more hand construction, trail work?
That would be a Shay question, cause I don't know what they.
Shay, do you know what the capabilities are of Rocky Mountain Youth Corps?
I had gotten a quote from them back in 2020 or 2019 or whatever. And they knew the exact trail and they were on board with doing it.
Was that just gonna be a mode trail though?
It was just gonna be, the simplest as possible, just gravel trail or big trail all the way up. We were just in the beginning of talking about it all and then it got shut down. So I don't know exactly what the later part, what exactly their plan was at that point, but it included all of their equipment and everything.
I guess it would depend on the actual eventual design of the trail, and who's capable of. I guess if we don't want to lock into Rocky Mountain Youth Corps if the design requires something beyond
Well, it depends on,
their capabilities.
if we determine we want to put a concrete trail all the way out there that,
Right.
probably not gonna be Rocky Mountain Youth Corps,
Well,
but that's not where we go.
my understanding from Attila yesterday was, this Rocky Mountain Youth Corps just hires local youth,
Right.
high schoolers, yeah.
Right.
So
Probably the
They
most
can't
they're-
high school,
they provide a supervisor and. Whatever.
Put the kids to work.
But if they're gonna go in there, with an excavator and dig out 12 inches deep and then they truck in the material. That's probably beyond what youth can do.
Patrick, you
You
want
know
to
what?
put that in? Cause you need more work, right?
Probably make my salary.
You need more work.
Salary.
This is actually coming across that bridge. right there. This was like a proposed other trail.
Just use knowledge.
Yeah, it's just
the trail, would you envision more power equipment as far as excavators?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Path of allegiance. I mean, we walked that trail yesterday.
It wasn't bad.
It seemed fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only thing we'd wanna do maybe is, we need to shield those buildings at some time against that fence with some Matias or something. Who knows?
Right.
That could suck down the road.
That's not
Excavator
super
or whatever along it and then there's.
cost prohibitive. Nice nice little flowery design against
Right?
a fence.
Yeah.
Probably two hand workers.
All right, well,
Like a bucket about this wide.
So I guess at this joint in time, since we have time restraints, would you want to recommend, a blessing on moving forward with phase
oh,
one?
absolutely. I think that, is there any opposition to trying to, at the very least, go for Should we ask Rocky about the multiple applications?
Yeah, I will, for
Okay.
sure.
I would say that. Worst case, if we can't do multiple applications, let's just go for the tier one and see if we can get $100,000 for planning and design. It's a great start.
We're calling that phase one.
What's that?
That's phase one.
Phase one. Mhm.
Which would also include, I guess, I've got to call into Bruce and then you'll talk with the resort about those. So hopefully we'll be able to have something, we'll work on that part of it.
Yes, it's resort.
We don't. Yeah.
So we're approving moving forward with the tier one for planning and design. And then
Yeah.
if possible,
If-
tier two.
If possible, if we can do 2 applications, go ahead and apply for tier 2 under the assumption of, not like bringing in ECTA into it as part of their regional development plan, so we go after more money.
Okay.
Is everyone okay with that plan? All right. Sweet, moving on to item D, review the NMDFA City Park Improvements Grant Criteria and provide the initial narrative ideas for the Allen Field grant application. I'm kind of at a loss on this one, I don't.
That's a shame.
Coming up,
She
okay.
sent us another.
I was in that same meeting.
Oh, gotcha.
It was, 2 links.
All right, well, I'll turn it over to you, Shay.
So that's the city park improvements.
Here, what did you, what was what are we talking about right now? I don't have it right in front of me.
The NMDFA City Park Improvements Grant Criteria.
Is this the one to get the restrooms built?
Lights for sure. I think, what all is it gonna entail? Lights and, electricity?
Cut down to like 4 phases. And for it, and she asked for 700,000. If we'll get it, we don't know. But the first phase, it is for phase 1, which is lights. And like a concession rest bathroom is part of phase 1. And then we go down into, those are the 2 main things in phase 1. And then there's also, we're working on designing the redoing the parking lot and making it bigger. The skate park, let me see if I can find it. I had it right in front of me. Ah, here it is. Okay, so phase 1 is, plan and design lights and electrical for the field and concession stand restrooms. And we're hoping to put that out for bid this winter. Met with the engineer yesterday. And so he's getting started on some of that. Spring of 25, we're hoping to construction of lights. Parking lot improvement and expansions in the summer or fall of 25. Infrastructure for restrooms and concession stand, summer, fall of 25. Construction of restroom and concession stand, spring of 26. And then pavilion or giant solar panel for shade, EV charge station for summer of 26. And that's all phase 1. And that's what we submitted with the grant was, that was our plan.
Okay, so this has already been submitted.
Yes, this was due August 31st.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent, well, that's great.
Yeah,
This gives us more ammunition for the grant, for the trail. to
Sure,
get to the-
absolutely.
100%.
Much improved. Recreation area.
Yeah,
Sweet. All right, well, thank you, Shay. That's awesome.
That's the update. We'll see what we get. So
And you said we applied for 700,000, was that it?
yeah, that's what we put in there. I doubt we'll get that, but, they said to shoot high, because this is the first time this grant's ever come out, and it's also a non-matching grant, so that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't have that much money for the whole state, so they said just shoot high, and then they can hopefully get this grant out there. Another, a continuation of it each year, to show that there's need for this grant, so we'll see what we get. I think we'll get something, but not the 700, but.
Yeah, cause that's 10% of the total amount available. There's
Yeah.
only 7 million, so.
So we just, shows that there is a need. That's what they wanted us to show, so.
We have a lobbyer in Santa Fe. We don't, should.
We actually do.
Okay, cool. It's good to know. All right, thank you very much, Shay. I guess we can move on to item E. Determine the next meeting date, time, location, and the agenda items. If there is no opposition, we'll go ahead and just make this, the same place, same time on the 19th. Any scheduling conflicts or issues with that?
The only one would be Jackie, but if our meetings we're meeting every other Thursday, basically. is that-
Yes, and hers
So,
was, I
I
thought
think-
theirs was the 2nd and 4th.
Yeah, I'll have to ask her because, I know, on a 5. I have to figure it out, but in November, there's 5 Thursdays?
Okay, gotcha.
It might work itself out.
And once Thanksgiving, so.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so,
To skip a week.
Yeah.
At some point to.
I'll get her schedule. and-
okay, I thought it was the 2nd and 4th.
Yeah, is it so?
I think so.
She could have made.
So I guess we'll make, we'll say Thursdays, the 19th at 9 AM here for the next meeting. I guess we can do a follow-up on, I guess, agenda items, follow up on land access. Is that how you would word it? For the Frank Young extension. We can do so.
So when we say follow up on land access, I mean, is that?
Or maybe that's just our action, an action
Well, I
item
mean,
to
is that-
report.
I mean, is it up to this committee to work on land access, or is that something?
I just have
Once
to,
we've approved or going forward, is that then?
unless I
the village
misunderstood,
people to do whatever they need to do?
Yeah.
Is that getting down too nitty gritty for
that's a good point.
with this?
I just jotted down Patrick talked to Resort, and
I
Jeff to talk
mean,
to Bruce.
Did you figure out the blocks?
I don't know what
Yeah, I
that,
took photos, got maps, I looked at the map at the resort, look and see.
But eventually it'd be the village would have to approach the resort to say,
Draft the.
can we,
Agreement.
on this easement, are we,
yeah,
what do we need?
I can at least fill it out and do the groundwork of
Yeah.
starting that.
Kind of be aware of what's coming down the pike.
If it's a hard no, then.
Yeah,
it's good, well, it's good to know now rather than
yeah,
later.
yeah.
It's actually good, like, what,
Go.
Well, should we just though, as far as
Not a hard no.
an
but-
agenda item, just have
Never know.
a status report on. where
yeah,
we're at
maybe we'll
on
just do a
the-
status report
On the Frank Young.
on the Frank Young extension, yeah, let's
There
do
you go.
that.
Well, do we
But
need
of
to-
course, so, it's clear to the resort, it's strictly through the same easement as the sewer system that goes through there.
Well, except
Right.
for
So
the
the
part
post
that goes
trail
up the
is
high
the
school.
sewer system, which I walked years ago, but it goes through resort land property with an easement of.
Right.
Yeah,
Sewer.
it would be within the easement, the
Okay.
sewer easement boundaries.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Unless we make a connection to the school, which we'll
Yeah,
go.
that.
So that, I think we're off of resort property at that time.
No,
Oh, I thought even the school, she said even the school's on resort property.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, well, I think the resort deeded property, but that she meant
It
in the,
was,
probably
resort property.
the property bordering the high school is probably a resort because they carved out
yeah, so.
land for the high school.
Trail Yeah, so the trail that goes up to the high school, we have
Yeah, so this
not
is good, 'cause we have need that.
verbal or otherwise.
How we do
Right,
it.
and we don't even know what.
We
the
have to
alignment might be on
Yeah.
How
that-
that's gonna be,
That's why I'm wondering if we need to follow
Yeah.
up to kind of come up with, what we think would be the ideal connection between the school, the Allen Fields and this trail.
Yeah.
I mean, we were throwing a bunch of ideas out, but nothing, we've not agreed on anything.
No.
So would that be helpful? If we at least had an idea of what we wanted, you know, how we wanted to connect them.
Yeah.
Having that culvert already across, that was a good idea. I mean, that does.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's
just-
could get, I mean, look at
just-
this map.
Not a direct shot at the
right.
fields, it's all.
On this map, there's kind of a dark green.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Along that section line,
Yep,
what that is that?
I would think that'd be a utility easement.
Some sort of,
Well, that's about where the power
That's
lines
where
would
the
go,
power lines are at, yeah.
so if.
Which would make
if we
sense
have a
going down
power
section
line,
line.
It really would be the easiest way is just put it along the power line and then you'd have to backtrack just a little bit to get to the field, but.
Yeah.
It's not terrible
It
though,
would be
No, it's
bad.
not.
and they're young kids, they can walk. It's good for them.
It would avoid having to put a bridge across.
And it's an actual easement already.
That's okay, so I guess
We'll put that as an agenda. item,
We'll revisit.
Discussion of the.
discussion of high
The
school,
high school.
yeah, extension, yeah.
And then we'll have just a general status report of where we're on the main Frank County.
Yes, sir.
Fields.
And another agenda item, we can start workshopping our roadmap. I'll scan all this stuff into you, and email it over for the minutes and use it as a template to start working on, our own little, our own section for that.
And then do we also want to do the revisit the ACTA discussion, because I think we're supposed to have our ideas to.
Yeah, I think we should revisit ECTA, I agree.
I've got ideas from Tim and the ideas that came up during this meeting 2 weeks ago. And if I don't get anything else, that will be the total of ideas.
Fair enough.
We've got quite a few ideas.
There are quite a few.
Yeah, I think that's enough for ACTA to chew on.
I'll
Right.
talk to Rocky, because we want to present, this to council on the 24th. To apply for the Trail, Plus grant, because it has to be in, by the end of the month, so I'd have to present it on the 24th to council for approval. So I'll talk with Rocky and we'll get that application going based on what we discussed, and, I'll email everybody and keep everyone updated.
All righty, thank you very much.
And then just we can get a kind of update at the next meeting, exactly where we're at, and if there's anything
Yeah,
you're still needing by the 24th from this committee.
okay. Excellent. Well, I think that's a pretty decent agenda. Less items.
Did have one other question for Patrick. You said you have redone part of the trail around the lake. With the browns on it. Is there a specific space along there that will give us an example of what that is? So we know
Yeah.
that's the direction that we want to go.
Yeah,
Have you done the whole lake, or is there a certain section that we can look
We've
at?
been working on the whole, well, it's like a 3-4 year project.
Is
So
there
the best
part
place,
that's already done?
yeah, the best place to go look is the far south end.
The
of
south
the
end.
lake, and where it's the old fence, where you walk through the fence, there's some restrooms right there, some house restrooms. Walk that, go north to the bridge crossings, going back to the lake house,
So if we're going north, which side of the lake would we be going on?
be on the west side.
On the west side.
Where the
Okay.
restrooms are, start where the restrooms
Where
are.
the
Yeah,
restrooms
we'll take a look at that.
Let's just park in that little parking lot where the restrooms are, that's right.
Let's-
And the bridges, basically.
Let's either independently. Take a look at that and get an idea of, is this the kind of trail we want to do down there? Cause that seems like the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah,
And,
that's a year old, I'll be a year old here next month.
okay,
Well, the cheapest is just,
just mow it.
It's not.
But it's so rough out there That even if you mowed with all that.
Yeah, it's way too rough.
Yeah,
to
wish
do.
I-
Okay, let's smooth things up.
My box blade will. Absolutely. I can drop that baby and it'll smooth it out as I go. Yeah, sure will.
All right.
Believe it.
Everyone satisfied with today's meeting?
I'd like to add something that's kind of a lower hanging fruit, not part of this discussion, but it's trail signage and update on maps. Resort and village working together at some point, getting rid of our old maps, all the kiosks is like all updating all this.
Gotcha.
And get away, eventually get away from the the printout maps probably and get some nice QR codes. But I think in the next, hopefully, this is a lot easier project than what we're talking about, right? That's very achievable.
That's
And I assume a map at the kiosk.
Yes.
a Printed map at the kiosk and then a QR code.
QR code scan, correct, and then updated all
And
the,
they just remove all of the
all the old.
current, trash bins.
That's a great idea.
Prepare for their village and the resort to work together, because there's
Yeah.
trails everywhere
Yeah.
and get on the same page.
Yeah,
That's a great idea. I'll bring that up to Greg, Ralph,
Yeah.
with the, and, see if, he can't get to work on that. I know there was a pause because of, contracts. We're having to look at new contracts for the, advertising contracts.
I think on the action items, we talked about doing what we call bike locker topics, which would be kind of like this. Maybe I'll start listing those.
yeah, I like that idea, Patrick. It is some low hanging achievable fruit.
Yeah, and then we won't
That
get
you show,
They'll have.
Well,
show progress, actually feel good about why we meet.
especially going into the fall, that way it can all be done.
Plus it's
Spring.
spring that kind
Have
of
it.
shows that solidarity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Change those by
Yeah.
spring.
I'll come up with some examples. I'm sure Attila has a lot of knowledge about this too, but think, directions we'd like to go.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to mention too, that moving into fall, winter, my schedule changes to night work, so the time to be here will be probably limited, but
Yeah.
phone calls, I'm always reachable phone calls.
Sure. Okay.
Gotta make it snow.
Someone's got to. It's not God, it's you.
We're quite fine with you working all night, every night.
Is this, are we thinking this map is gonna be a village, map, or is it gonna always be a resort map?
It should be a collaboration, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's gotta go to one side or the other, because
Why can't,
Why?
why can't it have both village and?
I mean, this little
Yeah.
fold-out map, it's got both village and resort trails, and it says Angel Fire Resort at the bottom.
Spearheaded by the
Village
village.
of Angel Fire, I mean,
See, basically, that's a good example. We can
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Modify that. make
yeah,
that
modify
better.
this as a.
Quantify, get a QR
And
code.
then carry that out to the trails themselves with new signage up there.
I'm just saying that a QR code goes to a single website. So where's the
Oh, who's-
website?
Can it go to
website?
more than one?
Who's gonna do the website?
It would probably go to the visitors website,
It
right?
would, and then there's a link, there'd be a link to the resort from that.
The QR code goes straight to the
And
map.
all the events, I mean,
Just be a file.
even all the.
It could just go to a
It'd just be a
file.
file of a map.
Yeah,
QR code should be a file of a map, goes straight to a
Then you
map.
could have
Yeah.
sponsored Village of Angel Fire and Angel Fire Resort.
Yeah, I'm not
So
so
that's,
concerned
the
about
map that you bring up would have.
Where's it go?
Like that.
Well,
Yeah.
we've all experienced QR codes that go to a broken link, and it's like, well, who's gonna be responsible for keeping that?
Oh, keep the link up, okay.
My guess is it'd probably be a Angel Fire Village, or like for the tour, it'd be the tourism.
Yeah, it's a,
Or-
we've got a.
Or
robust
the resort
visitor
might
center.
want a little bit more control over it and they may,
That's,
if they're gonna be.
They wanna do it.
that's it.
To go to a step even further, I don't even know what this entails,
Yeah.
but.
The resort likes things done right, so they would probably want control over it.
Yeah,
You're on Coyote or wherever it is, sold for,
Yeah,
You are here.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
That'd be pretty sweet.
And that'd be good for any medical response or anything like that.
It's actually a really good idea.
So the maps that's in the kiosk now, as far as the plastic placard, you're gonna replace that or modify it?
Yeah.
Because there's already standalone ones that are all ripped up, and there's ones on it,
Pretty much
Five Bears on
completely
a tree.
revamped.
Yeah.
Trail signs, everything.
Cause that whole thing talks about the extension of Frank Young Trail all the way to Eagle Nest, all the way, you know, we got all these plans that was on that thing. I don't know how many years ago.
We can keep it relevant. It's gonna be
Yeah.
new dates, so-
Yeah, good.
Well, and it's a prime example is, let's say we do the Frank Young Trail. After we've printed all these maps, you know,
And
then,
it's
then you
not
don't
like-
have
That's
it
why digital.
with a QR code, it's like boom.
That 2006 trails plan had all the maps all the way to Eagle Nest and.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's right in.
Yep. Hey, get your shovel, start working.
Well, I think what I heard from
Power up
Patrick early
tractor.
on is we want to get out at least of the blinking lights to get to the RV park and stuff.
Well,
right?
yeah, that's,
Wasn't that
that's,
something? That's a goal of the.
it's phase one is up to the rec area, phase two is up to the school, phase three is out. to
We'll
the-
be out to the blinking light.
Or even like crossing over, I think the resort even talked about just crossing the highway. And making a trail through that, the old baseball fields, kind of through that area. So you're not walking along the highway, you're actually on a trail
Right.
to get up. To get to the resorts. RV park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
does
like
the
the
res-
land over there.
Yeah.
does the resort have, does the resort have interest in a trail that links the Frank Young Trail to the RV park?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's,
Currently, I can't answer, but over the years, absolutely. Yeah.
okay,
It's been
so
a-
I mean, obviously, that's future discussion, but that's probably the next.
This
phase
is a
of the
start.
project.
Yeah, it's on that kiosk map, all of it.
Yeah,
Even
but
the one from Olympic Park to the country club is. It's on that map.
And we can actually, there's resort property, I think that backs up to the Carson Forest of RV Resort.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, so we could
One
actually
day.
go back into the, along the national forest and come from the west side of the RV park.
Yep.
Wow, that would be perfect.
And I believe that Carson site over there is already NEPA approved over there years and years ago.
Yes.
That it actually
It is.
could be built on at some point.
Okay.
All right, good
Which is
stuff.
part of our comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
You know.
I was to say that that should be,
Then there-
That-
and
that
then
whole
we
connection.
do that, Then we would want to be.
Agreed, yeah.
Enter into discussion with the
For
national
next,
forest.
on that next meeting.
yeah,
Linking
I agree with that.
trail
That should
to
be.
the-
So
Is this, does this
So that
have
there's a
all of that
trail.
in there, or is it?
From the
the-
RV park to the Elliott Barker and to the.
I'm not sure about what they were just talking about.
Does the resort have a relationship with the Forest Service?
I do.
That would be the perfect long term.
Break zone?
Alrighty, there's thank you. Good suggestion, Patrick.
Yeah.
Quite the asset. And quite a skilled diplomat too. I like the way you answer questions.
We would be looking at.
With the resort in.
You play the game very well.
Right.
All right, well, with no further input, I call this meeting adjourned.
Right.
Yeah.